manager has just said that he's had a lot of conversations with the players since Saturday. He said he's happy, he's pleased with what he's heard in response to his criticism. Has there been some harsh words behind the scenes?
I think it was just a very straightforward and honest conversation which needed to be held, because we all know that recent performances, domestically especially, haven't been good enough. I mean, if you lose 5 on the spin at Ibrox, at this club, it's not something you should be able to accept. So, yeah, it was very open, no filter, but with a very positive outcome in the end.
Do you, as a player, do you feel that conversation needed to take place for you to move forward?
Probably, if you see what has come off of it, I'm sure you understand. I cannot give you any nitty gritty there, but if you see how the conversation went and how honest and straightforward it was, and what we started to talk about, there were definitely some things that needed to be said, that needed to be heard, and like I said, it led to a positive outcome as a group.
For you, watching on Saturday, obviously you didn't play. How difficult was that? Not just to watch the performance, but I suppose to see the stands emptying as well after about an hour.
I mean, it's a tough one. It's not my right to tell people how to support us. I think they've been outstanding. They are outstanding the majority of the time. If you look at our season, you can probably show some empathy. Would I like to see something different and for most of them to stay until the final whistle? Yes. Can I understand their frustration and their disappointment? Definitely. So it's hard for me to really. I wouldn't judge on it, but obviously it's tough because they can give you so much, and at the same time I think everybody also understands what it means to the fans in that moment when they decide to take that option. So it's on us to turn things around.
Yeah. Leon spoke to the manager about the performance on Saturday. One of the things that highlighted him and asked him if he agreed was the players being brave on the ball, on and off the ball, just making herself available, taking the ball, etc. I don't want to say hiding, but sometimes when things aren't going well, you take the easy pass or you do the easy thing instead of trying to break lines, instead of trying to do that. How do you, as a group, become brave and trust yourself and get that? Do you know what I'm trying to ask? How do you discover that when you look at the performance on Sunday? There was a lot of that in the game. So how do you fix that ahead of tomorrow?
How do we fix to be braver? Is that what you're asking? How do we become brave on the ball and, like you said, do not hide? I think we need to live through those difficult moments, but also remember that we do have the quality to do it, because I think we've shown it more than enough this season, despite the ups and downs. And it's just about repetition, and it's about upping your own standard, holding yourself accountable first and foremost. Remember that, or know that you can do better. One or another might need a bit of a ruffle. Another one just needs maybe, I don't know, a night to sleep over it and then just shake it off. But it's about going out there and do it again, and that's the beauty of playing at a club like Rangers, that you have the next game always a few days later. And I think it's a very good game tomorrow to show that you can do a lot better in a good test.
Ronnie?
There's been a lot of hurdles this season. It seems as if it's one step forward, 2 steps back a lot of the time with this team. You mentioned the honest conversations. Why should fans believe that these honest conversations will fix it when there have been so much irregularities throughout the season?
Again, I can't dictate on someone's behavior or on their thoughts or their decision making. It's on us, like I said before, to make them believe. And I think that's pretty much my answer. We have to prove it. I said it's on us. We have to turn things around. And the only way to do that is to follow words with action.
Fraser?
Leon, you mentioned the 5 defeats in a row at Ibrox, which has never happened before in Rangers history. Is there a problem playing at Ibrox for this group of players?
I think you would have to ask each player individually. again, you look at performances here that we had in the past, and then you might think it's hard to say that. You can't really put your finger on it. I think that overall we just lack consistency this season. Can't say if it's down to the fact that it's Ibrox. I'd like not to think so, just based on my own experience here. Yes, I've been in some tough games, but overall it's a joy to be here, to play in front of 50,000 every single game. So I would like to think that this is not a problem, it's more a problem of consistency. It just makes it worse that it happens to be the season that at Ibrox we seem to struggle more than ever.
Do you think you owe the fans then a big home performance?
I think I've said that before, yeah, in the few questions that have been asked before. There's things to make up for, definitely. As much as there have been things, I think, this season that we gave back to them. But we need to give them more of those moments. That's, I think, undisputable. Yeah.
Leon, a lot has been made this season about Rangers' domestic form compared to European form. Can you, as players, put your finger on why you've saved some of your best performances for Europe?
I can't, to be very honest. I think if we could, then we would have fixed it by now. What hurts a bit is that you obviously hear that people are saying that we only turn up for those big games, and at the moment there's some truth in it, and that hurts, and that must hurt every single one of us. And again, it comes down to turning things around. But then again, it's probably not tomorrow's game where we can prove that, but it's the domestic games, like last weekend, where we have to show that.
Leon, in forward areas go well on a side that selling 1v1 situations, they try to put defenders in their positions. Does that change anything with regard to your game plan, and do you feel that's the strongest part of your own game?
I'm really sorry, can you just repeat the first part, because I was trying to find you and
But well on a side to forward areas, certainly excelling 1v1 situations, that's what they try to put defenders in. Does that change anything in your preparation, your game plan, and would you say that's the strongest part of your own game?
I think it's a very big part of any defender's game. And it's definitely going to be a challenge tomorrow. They've got some real good quality up there. But this is what you embrace. Again, it's a very special game. It's a quarter-final of the Europa League. So that itself makes it massive already. But personally, I don't prepare any different. I just try to have a nice afternoon to wind down a bit. And then obviously you look at the players. There's not too much to look at, not because there's not enough to see, but because it's pretty much known. But then it's just preparing for the game. It's the quarterfinal, like I said before, it's massive. They are special, and a lot of things can happen in these games. They're not one-off, but sort of, because the occasion is that big. And then again, it's about bravery and backing yourself, believing in yourself, reminding yourself of what you're capable of, and then enjoy it, really.
Do you want any more detail on individual players, per se? You know, would you look at an individual more detailed in their tendencies and really what come in the field?
Not really, no. I mean, we've got all the tools from our club's analysts who are amazing. That's for every game, though. So you look at their clips. If there's something that stands out, they point it out. But other than that, I think as a professional footballer, you should be able to identify the strong points of the opposition. So looking at the clips should be enough normally. And then obviously tomorrow is going to be a lot about the collective as well.
To be honest, a kind of related question, but Nico Williams is obviously a player that a lot of people are talking about. You will have watched him, I guess. And are you excited about taking on a player like that and trying to
Of course,
hold
yes,
him?
definitely. It's going to be a big challenge. But I think it's a big challenge for any player in the world who plays against him these days. And I think it's a privilege to be able to play against these type of players. I remember when we went all the way to Seville 3 years ago. I was desperate to play against Haaland, but he wasn't fit for the games. In hindsight, maybe it was better that he didn't play. We don't know. But it's. I think this is the type of mindset you need to have. Yes, they are really good players, or more than really good, world class, some of them. But those are the games. Those are the type of matches that you dream of when you're a young boy. So we should just embrace it and be joyful about it and make sure that we have something to take joy out of it as well.
Last couple, Mark, please.
Leon, given what's been happening domestically, given the sort of nature of the questions you're getting now and the manager got before, is it fair to say, or what is the mood in the dressing room now? Is it fair to say it's not a happy place?
It definitely wasn't a happy place after Sunday, but we were all pretty clear on the fact that now we are in a quarter-final. It is separate from what's happening domestically. That's a fact. And we have to focus on that. And there's a lot to look forward to. There's a massive opportunity for the players, for the club. So, to me, the last 2 days were pretty positive. I mean, everybody's aware of the domestic side of it, but we can focus on that after tomorrow night again.
You guys. Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.